What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel for another episode of Tech Tip Tuesday / the SX250 6-bar retro build, where we're taking you step by step how to put together an entire bike from the very beginning. So last week we put together the front end, we put the headset in, the forks on, the stem, and the handlebars. And this week, what I was planning on doing was putting the bottom bracket in, the cranks, and just getting the drivetrain ready for the chain and the wheels. But I was getting ready to put them together and I realized I was missing a couple bolts. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the tubes and the tires on the wheels and we're gonna put them on the bike, and it's just gonna start looking like an actual bike. Last week I had mentioned that I was missing a few parts, the brakes and spokes for my wheels, but luckily Brad Kinchelow over at Mad Cycles built up my fresh new wheels. He actually came and picked them up from my house at like 7 o'clock one night, and then he texted me at 8 o'clock the next morning, picture of my wheels put together, ready to go to put on the bike. So thank you, Brad Kinchelow over at Mad Cycles, for hooking me up with some fresh wheels with a quick turnaround. I decided to go with the spoked wheels for this retro build just because I really like the look of spoked wheels, and there's so many things that you can do with them. You can change the spoke colors, you can change the rims, you can change the hubs. There's just so much you can do to spoked wheels. But these might look like your ordinary spoked wheels, but they are prototypes. I'm not sure how much Bill Ryan wants me to go into depth of these wheels, but they are prototypes. He's been messing around with some trickery on the internals of it, so I'm excited to put them on the bike and try them out. But listen to these babies purr. So for this part of the build, you'll need 4 things. You'll need your wheels, obviously. Whatever wheels that you choose, just make sure that they're the right size to fit inside of the dropout on your frames and the dropout in your forks. You'll need your tires, you'll need tubes, of course, and you'll need chain tensioners. So first things first, hopefully you guys have your rim tape on there. And if you don't know what rim tape is for, that's so you don't have exposed holes from all of the nipples that will just destroy your tube as soon as you put air into it. If you got your rim tape in, next thing to do is put one side of the tire on the rim. The good thing about these Supercross tires, they're not directional, so I could put them on any way that I choose. I know there's some of you directional guys out there that pick at anyone that has their tires on backwards. Not today. Once you got one part of your tire on your rim, now you can prepare your tube. And by preparing your tube, I mean is unravel it, and you see how it's flimsy like this? It makes it really hard to put it inside of the wheel when you have it like this. So the best thing to do is put a little bit of air in here, just enough to inflate the tire and hold its shape. I put a little bit of air in here, now it's time to put the tube inside of the wheel. First thing you're gonna wanna do is find that valve stem hole, slide it in there, make sure it's all the way down. Now you can start tucking the tube into the tire. Once you got the tube nice and tucked inside of the tire, now you can snap in the other bead side of your tire. Boom. Now you can put air in it, but don't go too crazy with the air right off the bat, because you're gonna wanna make sure that the tire is sitting nice and flat and you don't have any high spots or low spots. All right, now that you got the tire on there, it's inflated, everything's nice and smooth, no high spots, no low spots. Now you can repeat the process on your other wheel. I got both tires on both wheels. Next thing to do is take off the bolts and put on the chain tensioners on your back wheel. If you have chain tensioners like this with 2 holes and you're not sure which one to use, it's kind of like a guessing game where you want your wheel, if you want it far back or close or right in the middle. But I would say, just to start with, that I would put it in this far hole closest to the front, because that will give you the most adjustment. And if you need to take some links out of your chain when you're getting everything dialed in, you'll have enough adjustment to do so. All right, let's put these bad boys on. Obviously, the front wheel goes on the forks. If you're having trouble like me putting the wheels on like this, there's an easier way to do it. flip your bike upside down so it's on the ground, and let gravity slide that front wheel into the forks. I'm just doing it like this because I like to make things difficult. Alright, now it's time to put the back wheel on. Usually at this point I have the cranks and everything on, but like I said, I was missing a few things, so that's why I'm putting the wheels on. But drive side always goes on the right. So if you don't have your cranks on yet, drive side goes on the right. And bam, just like that, the wheels are on. All I need now is to put on a seat, and this could be a balance bike. That kind of sounds like a good idea. Introducing the all-new 6-bar balance bike from Supercross. All right, we got the handlebars, the forks, the wheels, the frame. This thing's actually starting to look like a bike, which is the main goal, obviously. But hopefully next week I'll have all the bolts and stuff so I can put the bottom bracket and the cranks on, because then it'll actually ride once we put the chain on and the seat. And then we'll need brakes, obviously, because we're gonna need to stop. Thank you guys again for stopping in and hanging out with me for another Tech Tip Tuesday / the SX250 6-bar retro build. That's all for today, and I'll see you next week.